Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Gentleman Pursuits podcast. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's happy, healthy, and hydrated as always. Staying hydrated is really important. If you have not, go drink some water right now. So this week has been really great for myself. Started reading books again. School's over for now, kind of, but it's gonna start again like on Monday, which is tomorrow. I got back on track with the podcast and videos output, and most importantly, I've been planning something new for Gentleman Pursuits. This time it is slightly different because there will be a new member added to this project. I'm really excited, and when it's out, I will definitely let you know. Aiming to launch it before next Sunday or within these 2 weeks, so perhaps there will be a short announcement before that. And once again, I'm really excited, and I look forward to launching this because there's like a breakthrough for myself. And today I wanna revisit one of my older episodes and do a part 2. It is the Back to Basics series, and in that episode I basically went through a list of not a list, but not 10 commonly used jargon within the watch community, sort of explaining what each term means. And I feel like doing a part 2 because, come on, for every watch lover out there, you have to familiarize yourself with these terms, or else these toxic gatekeepers are going to be mad. I'm not kidding though. There are people within the community that will be mad at you because you don't know basic stuff. But it's always good to sharpen your vocabulary skill, especially when it's like related to your hobby. So here it is, another 10 words that are commonly used within the watch community that you definitely should know. Number 1 is the deployant clasp, a type of watch strap buckle that closes by folding in on itself, commonly seen on watches that is on the classier end of the spectrum. Brands like Vacheron Constantin and Patek Philippe likes to use the deployant strap. Remember, it's deployant, not deployment, a common mistake that a lot of people don't know they make. So yeah, that's the first one. Second one is escapement. Escapement is an internal component in a mechanical watch that transfers the power from a wound up watch into the movement of the watch's second hand by driving the balance wheel at a steady rate. Some people may get movements and escapements mixed up. Actually, myself, when I first started reading about watches, I thought escapement and movements are the same thing. These two terms are often appear simultaneously in articles. So, as mentioned, escapement is basically a system that drives the power to the second hand with the help of the balance wheel. The ticking noise you hear from the watch is from the escapement, a little fork-like gadget moving the wheel when it makes a sound, and that's the ticking noise. So the third one is movement. So I talked about escapement, I gotta talk about movement as well. Movement is the inner working mechanism of a watch, basically the heart, the soul, everything in the watch that can be either mechanical or quartz. Some people refer movements to caliber as well. I've actually made an episode just a few episodes back talking about why the term caliber is the same as movement. So you can go check that out. There's like a whole history behind it. It's a really short episode, so yeah, you can go check it out. So there are two main kinds of movements, as mentioned, mechanical and quartz. In mechanical movements, there are the mainspring, the gear train, escapement, and a balance wheel. In a quartz movement, however, there are a battery, a microchip circuit, a quartz crystal, and a stepper motor. Some of the most famous movement manufacturers are ETA and Valjoux, and a lot of famous watches existing nowadays are equipped with a Valjoux 7750, including a lot of the Breitling watches, the Omega Seamaster, a few models of the Speedmaster as well, These are like based on Valjoux 7750. Some Panerai and IWC watches are also equipped with this movement. So the fourth term is frequency. This is not so frequently discussed. It is oftenly used, but not discussed. So frequency is the speed at which a watch ticks and is measured by hertz or vibration per hour. Most watches are beating at, I believe you've seen this number quite often in articles and reviews. Most watches are beating at a 28,800 VPH. Some watches are beating at 36,000 VPH, such as the Seiko high beat movement. The frequency is controlled by the oscillation of the balance wheel. So the high beat movement is one of the higher frequency movement. As mentioned, the high beat movement was actually released back in 1967 by Grand Seiko, and the automatic chronograph released by Zenith, the El Primero, in 1969 was also beating at 36,000 VPH. So basically, the more it beats, the higher VPH, the higher the frequency is, the more stable the watch is. Simple as that. Coming up at number 5, we have gasket. A ring. Gasket is a ring. Most of the time it is rubber or plastic. A ring that was used to seal the gaps between the case and the case back. Crystal, crown, to prevent water or dust from entering the case and damaging the movement. Nothing special about this one, just good to know what a gasket is. It's Gasket. Gasket, a ring that's between the case and case back. We have horologery. It is a French term. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the word in French because I've been Googling and researching ways to pronounce this word properly, but I just am not confident that the whatever pronunciation I found was the accurate one, so I went with the English pronunciation, the horologery. But if the word is translated into English, it means high watchmaking or high art of watchmaking. It's kind of a vague term, to be honest. Like, what is high art of watchmaking? Aren't all watchmaking high art? So the term first came about in the late 1970s, somewhere after the quartz crisis, and initially was a marketing tactic to differentiate super high-end mechanical watches from the mass-produced quartz model. So basically a strategy to bring the mechanical watches back into the market after the birth of quartz watches, right? So it's kind of a smart move, right? Because people love really exclusive, really high-end, really expensive things. So if you coin a term and then define it as high art of watchmaking, it tend to draw people to buying it, right? There's a whole story behind this term, so I highly suggest you go read about it. I can only cover so much in this episode. Maybe I'll do a standalone episode talking about the history behind it. But after all, this episode is about definition of terms that you should know, but not really a history of terms. So maybe I'll do a standalone episode again, but let me know if you want it or not. So number 7, we have jewels. The red jewels you see at the back of the movement through that open case back is actually synthetic rubies or synthetic sapphires. They're used as bearings at the heaviest points of wear in a watch movement in order to reduce friction between moving parts. Metal normally has a higher friction than rubies. Rubies are generally slicker. And according to GearPatrol.com, friction between two pieces of steel is 0.58. Whatever unit they use between two pieces of steel is 0.58, but between steel and sapphire is actually 0.15, so a drastic drop in friction. So as you may have noticed already, like normally in a watch movement, you want to reduce friction in order to prevent any errors, any mistake caused by friction, to slow down the movement, because a time-telling machine should not be slowed by factors that can be eliminated, right? So using sapphires is to reduce friction. They're solely for functional purposes rather than decorations. I thought rubies are like, oh my god, these jewels are so cool looking. Oh my god, I have jewels in my watch, right? But it's just for functional purposes. I mean, it's synthetic. After all, it's not even natural. So, number 8, we have the word main plate. So, main plate is the base on which all the parts of a mechanical watch movement are mounted. So, that big circular steel plate is the main plate. Easy. Number 9 is pusher. The start, stop, reset buttons on the chronograph movements. They were called pushers. You may have known this one, but I feel like covering it too because it's a weird term. So the last one, number 10, it's small seconds. Small second is a subdial separate from the main hour and minute function that displays the second, commonly found in chronographs. Once again, so in chronographs there should be like 2 subdials or 3 sometimes, and one of them should be the small seconds. So that's what small seconds mean. So these are the 10 terms that you should definitely familiarize yourself with, because as much as I hate to say it again, there are some toxic gatekeepers that may clown you for not knowing the basics. I'm not going to make fun of anyone who doesn't know a thing about watches, because if I want to make fun of you, I wouldn't be making episodes like these to, teach you or sort of enlighten you, whatever word you'd use. So know these words, make your life easier when you're reading a watch related article next time. It's always beneficial when you learn something new, yeah? So thank you for tuning in today. Hope you like it. Drop a follow or subscribe to the Gentleman Pursuits YouTube channel for the latest update. Thank you once again. Just a quick reminder, once again, there will be a new project, a new series coming out soon, so stay tuned. If you have not followed Gentleman Pursuits on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you name it, please go follow, because I will be announcing updates on social media, of course. So go follow it right now if you have not already. Thank you once again. I'll see you in the next episode.